How you gonna win when you ain't right within? Listen, Lauren knew what she was talking about. Today's video, I'm talking to my friends who you've been in business for a while. You've been doing it for a while. You got money. Nobody can take that from you. But you feeling a little bit hollow. You like, I reached this huge area and I still feel like I didn't make it. I still feel like I have so much further to go. And in that song, what she talked about is she kept saying, how you gonna win when you ain't right within? Because we think that us attaining these huge goals is going to make us feel so good and warm and fuzzy on the inside. And when we get there, we realize quickly the money and the clout ain't enough, right? I think about I use this example often, like Olympic gold medalists. They get to that spot and then they're done. That's it. They hit the end of the road. Most of the time, there's nothing else for them to do. There's no more achievements to do. I mean, they could continue to try to do like tournaments or matches, but nothing is ever going to beat the high of training for the Olympic sport, thinking about what it's going to be like when you win the gold medal, getting the gold medal, standing on the little step things, getting the praise from the people. That's it. That's the pinnacle. And so what happens when you have trained your whole life to be on that step thing and you did that and it's over? What do you do next? And what most people do is they fall apart. They go through a depressive state. They don't have a purpose anymore. They don't work out anymore. They don't try. They don't learn anything. They just soap. I don't even have words. And you may be feeling like that. I know my dissertation clients feel that way when they become doctor, and I know my business clients feel that way after they get to 100, 200, 300, 400, 500K a year. They may be like, oh, it would be nice if I could make $1 million in a year, but it doesn't have the same zing to it because, believe it or not, at some point, money is just money. You start to realize like, yeah, the newness of the money has worn off, and what else is there other than money? That is how we get sayings like money can't buy you happiness, because what happens when you have more than enough? And what I remind clients of is that you haven't reached the end. You haven't reached the end of the road. Just because you hit this level of success that majority of people have not doesn't mean this is the end for you. There's still so much to do. There's still so much to learn. But it's not about producing more. It is about what is the mark you want to leave on the world? Who do you want to help on a larger scale? What is your legacy that you want to leave behind? But in order to do that, friend, it's going to come down to you. The work that you have to do is internal. The work you have to do is building an actual relationship with yourself. Why? Because that is why with all the money and the clout that you have, you feel empty because you don't have a home inside of you. You don't have a relationship inside of you. That's the real flex and cheat code, is when you can have a home inside of you, it does not matter what is happening outside of you. You won't be rocked to your core. What I do is teach clients how to love themselves, how to have a relationship with themselves, how to create a home within themselves when they realize that the success is not enough. It goes back to, I want you to be right within so you can truly win. That was really cheesy, y'all, but I'm going with it. Okay, so here are the 5 things that you need to be right within to truly feel like, okay, I made it, or there's more for me to do, or to have a relationship with myself. Number 1, practice self-love in a way that feels good and true to you. I know a lot of people look at self-love as bubble baths, or go get your nails done, or go do this. That's not how I think about self-love. I think about self-love as you have created a home inside of you. When I think about home, I want you to think about you as a child. Whatever age popped in your mind, think about you as a child. So I often think of myself either as a 3-year-old self or a 10-year-old self when I'm thinking about me as a child. And I think, how could I provide a home for that 3-year-old and that 10-year-old? What do they need? Now, when we think about home, usually home has structure. It has a routine. Like if you were in charge of a 3-year-old, what would you make sure that they have? Well, I would make sure that they had a routine. They woke up around the same time every day. They had probably like 1 or 2 naps throughout that day. I would fight with them to eat food because they're 3. They don't want to eat food. There would be some play time in there. There'd be some quiet time in there. I might have them watch something educational, try to get them to read a little bit with some flashcards. And then I would make sure they would go to sleep like around 8 or 9. behind so that they can get enough sleep that night and come and do it all over again. I would ensure that there were routines in place so they know, like, every morning when you wake up, we go to the bathroom, we wash our face, we brush our teeth, right? Every morning we have breakfast together as a family. After breakfast, you're going to go do an activity. I'm going to come back and get you. When I get you from the activity, we might go get lunch or some ice cream or something. You're going to come home. Maybe we'll watch Bluey or Dr. McStuffins. Do the kids still watch Dr. McStuffins? Right, we're going to do that. I'm going to let you have an hour tablet screen time while I make dinner. And then after dinner, I'm going to read. We're going to do some bath time. And we're going to read a book. We're going to go to sleep. Now, sure, is every day going to happen that way? No. Those of you with kids are probably rolling your eyes at me right now, but just go with me for this example. But I would ensure that there was some sort of routine, because when little people have routine and structure, they know what to expect. Their behavior is much smoother. It makes your day smoother, and it makes their emotional state smoother. Not to say like things don't happen, but I would have a routine that I would work towards. To me, that is how you practice self-love. In the same way that you would set up a routine for a 3-year-old, how do you set up a routine for yourself? Because we are socialized, especially if you identify as a woman, you are socialized to always be in service to other people. You're usually socialized to think about everybody else's needs and wants. That you don't have that same level of care for yourself. In the same way that you would care for a 3-year-old, how do you care for yourself? What is your routine? When do you wake up? When do you eat breakfast? What do you do? How do you spend time with yourself? When do you say, okay, this is when we get dressed versus this is when we play. This is when we watch TV. This is when we do our work. This is when we have lunch. This is when we have bedtime. This is when you go to sleep at night. How do you create that structure for yourself, and how do you hold yourself accountable? Practicing doing that on a daily basis for me is self-love. And because in the same way that I wouldn't let anyone just come in and hurt the 3-year-old, I wouldn't let anyone just come in and yell at her. I wouldn't let anyone just come in and tell her she doesn't matter. If I wouldn't do that for the 3-year-old, I'm not going to do that for myself. That is a great way to learn how to practice self-love. And when you can do that, you set yourself up to win, friend. Like, just doing this one step, I still got 4 more to go, but just doing this one step will change the game for you and your business. Because the same level of care and intentionality that you put into that business to get to where you are, you need to start putting that into yourself. Yeah, you might do a little bit here and there, but I mean really devote significant time and energy to putting that into yourself. So that's number 1. Number 2, once you have your self-love practice going, now we need to work on the confidence of you believing that you know what you are doing. This might sound strange to some people. It's like, well, you made all that money. Of course you know what you're doing. Imposter syndrome is like, nope. Not really sure how I got here. Clients tell me that all the time. They're like, I don't know how I got here. I just got here. I don't know how I made this money. I'm just here. And I'm like, Now, confidence, and because I'm going to change this a little bit. Confidence says I have evidence from the past that shows why I'm here, why I was successful. Self-confidence is the belief that I can figure the shit out no matter what happens. So if I'm going to do something new, self-confidence says I can figure it out. I got my back. That's what self-love is going to directly help you with. Confidence, though, is in practice of you going back in the past, of you looking over your success, not only in business, but throughout your life, and looking at the many moments, the many decisions that you made to get to where you are today. Because the more that you can do the work of looking back of, okay, I had courage. I said I wanted to start a business. I hired a coach, or I joined a program. I followed the steps. I kept repeating. Even when I failed, I kept going. The more that you can do that work, the higher your confidence will go. The higher your confidence will go. The more you like, girl, I'm the shit. I know exactly how I got here. And if I want to make more, I can. But if I don't want to, I don't have to, because I'm good. That's a different energy. It's a different energy. And the act of constantly going back and reviewing, this is what we accomplished. It's more profound than you think. So my clients, I work with a lot of people that folks would call high achievers. And that just means that they never met a goal that they didn't complete. Now, they would tell you otherwise, but on the outside looking in, it's like, oh, you doctor. Like, so someone looking at me like, oh, you doctor. Oh, you hit 100K. Oh, you've been doing this business thing for 10 years plus. Oh, you've been doing it. Like, they're going to be really impressed. Whereas I have the tendency to downplay it and say, oh, no, it's not a big deal. I still have so much further to go. I haven't hit a million yet, or I'm not on Forbes list or whatever, right? I may make up all these things. But when I do the work of going back and sitting with, I am a doctor. I did do that process in 4 years. I do have an amazing business. I did have a lot of failures that I worked through. Not only when I can see it, but when I can emotionally feel I did those things, my confidence starts to grow little by little by little. And the higher your confidence, the more scary shit you're willing to do, the more you're willing to take care of yourself. So that's number 2. Number 3, once we work on the self-love and the confidence, now we get into the depths of the deep belief that you will be okay no matter what happens to you. No matter what happens, no matter what breakup happens, no matter what friendship ends, no matter if you lose someone, no matter if you lost your whole business or your money, no matter if your business doubled in income, your client list doubled, or you won the lottery. No matter what happens, you have a deep belief that you're going to be okay. Because a lot of the clients that I work with are really afraid of success. They're afraid of graduating. They're afraid of making more money or having more clients. They're afraid of their greatness because they don't think they're going to be okay. They don't know if it's something different. They're like, I don't know. I don't know how to deal with that. That's unknown. I'm scared. I don't know how to handle it. I think money's going to make me go crazy, or I think everybody's going to leave me if I make too much money, or I don't want to be like the rich person. I don't want to be a leader of capitalism. They have all of these thoughts, and we do work of like, you've been creating this home inside of you. You know that you can have your back because you have all this proof in the past. We work on belief like no matter what, all of that says that no matter what, you got you. You are going to be okay. And usually this is where I spend the bulk of the time with clients. We spend a good amount of time here. And this is not work that you just do once and it's done. No, it's ongoing work, because it's in this part where we got to learn about you. We got to learn about what makes you tick. What do you know about yourself? Who were you in the past versus who you are now? And who you are now, how is that different from who you're going to be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road? And I use astrology and tarot and mindset coaching to help people learn more about themselves, to help them increase their belief that no matter what happens, they're going to be okay. Those 3 tools are my primary tools. They're not my only tools, but they're my primary tools of helping clients establish that deep belief within themselves that no matter what happens in their life, their business, in their mind, in their body, that no matter what happens, they're going to be okay. And even if things get shaky or rocky, they have the tools to know how to continue to build up that belief that they're going to be okay no matter what. And that is not something that happens overnight. That is not work that you just take. You watch one video and it's done. That is ongoing work. So at the same time that we're working on that, let's go to number 4. You can make money with your values and integrity intact. You can make monies with your values and integrity intact. What that means is after you get to a certain level, clients are like, I don't want to grow past this level because I don't want to give in to capitalism. I don't want to be one of those people I'm trying to fight against. And I ask clients to really think about, what are your values? What does that mean exactly? Now you might be like, what does values have to do with giving into capitalism? It has everything to do with it. For some people, capitalism is their value. They absolutely love it. For other people, it's not. But you have to sit with why. Why do you not want to give in to capitalism? It's not because I want you to. I want you to have the space to think about why. Why are you making decisions that you are making? What are your values? What do you believe in? Going back to your why, like, why are you doing all of this? Who are you? What are your background experiences? How does that contribute to who you are today and how you move. This is where we can start to get into deeper inner child work and shadow work, because a lot of the decisions that we make around money in particularly is rooted in our childhood trauma. My client simply saying, oh, I don't want to make more money, she might be saying it's because of capitalism, but really it's because when she was younger, her father won a lot of money. When she was little, her father made a lot of money in a card game and blew it all in a night, and they couldn't pay any bills and they got kicked out of their home. And so her little self knows that. So now as a grown up at 39, when she wants to go make more money, she's afraid to do that because there's a part of her that thinks, if I make more money, I'm going to be just like my daddy and I'm going to blow it. I'm going to be outside and I'm going to be homeless. She may not be conscious of that, but that's what's happening. And so she may mistake that for thinking it's about capitalism when it's really about her father. The capitalism happened to be a technicality. Like, yes, there is an argument to be made there, but the deep emotional reason why she's avoiding making more money goes back to her father. See how we just got deep real quick? Because you think you have a business problem. You don't have a business problem. You have a self-love problem. And it's not really a problem. You just need to practice. So we spend time really with this. You can make money with your values and integrity intact. Like, you don't have to be someone else. You don't have to perform and be like everybody else that you see on the internet. You get to be you, but that requires you to figure out, who are you? What do you believe in? What do you care about? So you know how to differentiate yourself from everyone else. It becomes easier because you just show up as you. Because I believe, which takes me to point number 5, I believe that you just disrupt oppression and systems in the industry by showing up as your most authentic self. Because when you know that you have a home inside of you, you have a self-love practice, that you will be okay no matter what happens, and that you can make money just by being you, by following what you believe and keeping your integrity intact, you just showing up disrupts everything around you, and disrupts everything around you in the best way possible. Most of my clients care about disrupting oppression. How they disrupt oppression is they show up as their full selves, meaning they're not trying to conform to some standards of professionalism, like, oh, I gotta show up on the internet and say it like this and look like this. No, they can show up in their bonnet, they can show up in their muumuu, they can show up with their hair looking whatever it looks like, they can show up with makeup, no makeup, they can show up and show like their family, they can talk how they talk at home and still make money and still impact clients' lives and still change the world. Why? Because it's you the sauce. Okay, I'm being very cheesy, but those are the 5 things when I'm working with clients that we are focusing on. And so if that sounds like something you like, yes, girl, click the link below and schedule a consultation call. And this call, I'm going to ask you what's going on, what I would encourage you to do moving forward. And if you are interested, I will tell you more about working with me. I only have a certain amount of spots. And so that is why I spend time in the beginning making sure that whether we decide to work together or not, you have a plan to move forward. And if you choose to go try that plan by yourself, cool beans. If you're like, no, I want your help, that's cool too. But let's get started. Take the first step, hit the link, and I will talk to y'all later.